That morning started like any other. I was in the kitchen making breakfast for my three girls. Their giggles filled the air, the kind of sweet noise that makes your heart warm no matter how tired you are. Then, I heard her voice, cold, sharp, calling my name from the living room. I wiped my hands and went to see what she wanted. My mother-in-law was sitting on the couch, her eyes narrow, lips pressed tight. My husband sat beside her, but he wouldn't look at me. "Pack your things," she said, without a hint of hesitation. "Take your daughters and leave. This house is no longer yours." At first, I thought I'd misheard her. I stood there, frozen, trying to process her words. "Excuse me?" I asked. "You heard me," she said, her voice almost mocking. "My son needs a real wife, a woman who can give him a son to carry on the family name. 3 girls, and no boy? That's failure in my book." Her words hit me like a slap. My girls, my beautiful, innocent girls, reduced to disappointments in her eyes. I turned to my husband. Surely he'd defend me, but all he did was look away and mutter, "Maybe. It's for the best." I felt a lump rise in my throat, but I refused to let the tears fall. Not in front of her, not in front of him. My daughters had crept to the doorway, their eyes wide and scared. My oldest clutched her sisters, like she already knew something bad was happening. Inside, my anger was building, but I kept my voice calm. "Is that truly how you feel?" I asked him. He didn't answer, and that silence was louder than any shout. I nodded slowly, like I was accepting my fate. "All right," I said. "Give me a few minutes." I turned and walked toward the study, but I wasn't going to pack. I was going to prepare. From the bottom drawer of my locked cabinet, I pulled out a heavy brown envelope. My hands brushed over the contents. The deed to the house, the car ownership papers, the business licenses, the investment accounts, every single one in my name. Years ago, when we started building our life together, I had insisted on certain things, partly for security, partly because I believed in my own hard work. He had signed without question, and now, those signatures were my shield. When I walked back into the living room, she was still smiling like a queen who had already claimed her victory. I placed the envelope on the coffee table. "This," I said, pulling out the first paper, "is the deed to the house you're sitting in." I laid out the next one. "This is the business your son runs." Another. "This is the land we bought 2 years ago." Her smile faltered. I leaned forward and spoke slowly, so every word would sink in. "And every single one of these is mine. My name, my signature, my ownership." I could see the color drain from her face. My husband shifted uncomfortably. "You came into my home, demanding I leave because I didn't give you the grandson you wanted," I said. "But while you were counting sons, I was building something real. Something that belongs to me and to my daughters." I straightened up. "If anyone is leaving today, it's not me." The room went silent. My daughters, still in the doorway, were watching, learning that their mother wasn't someone who could be pushed aside. I gathered the papers, slid them back into the envelope, and stood tall. "You have 5 minutes to leave before I call security," I told her. She didn't speak. She just stood up, her pride wounded, her plan shattered. My husband followed her out, not daring to meet my eyes. I went to my girls, knelt down, and pulled them into my arms. "It's okay," I whispered. "We're safe. This is our home, always." We stepped outside into the garden. The air felt lighter. My daughters ran ahead, their laughter returning, filling the space that had moments ago been heavy with tension. They had tried to measure my worth by the son I never had. But my worth was written in ink on every document they had never bothered to read. And that was the day they learned you don't break a woman who built her own foundation.